Welcome back to Normal Baseball. Max Scherzer has been traded to the Texas Rangers in just one of a flurry of trades we saw over the weekend. The MLB trade deadline is tomorrow. We will be seeing a lot of trades from now until then, and we are here to talk about all of that. Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And like we said, the MLB trade deadline is indeed tomorrow. It is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So August 1st at 6 p.m. is the trade deadline in MLB. That is when every team must have their last trade submitted by. And until the rest of the season, no more trades can be made. Pretty exciting. It is one of the more exciting points in the MLB season, I'd argue. I think it's fun to see, the flurry of players going to different teams, seeing what teams are going for it all, just seeing guys in new jerseys, because I love seeing guys in different jerseys than the ones we're used to. But yeah, let's just get right into it. Obviously, I would say the biggest trade from the weekend was Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers have acquired Max Scherzer from the New York Mets in exchange for 21-year-old infield prospect Luis Angel Acuna. The Mets sent over Max Scherzer and cash considerations. They are paying most of Scherzer's contract for not only this year, but also next year, because Scherzer did opt into his contract for next year once he was traded.
Yeah.
And they got back 21-year-old infield prospect Luis Angel Acuna, brother of Ronald Acuna Jr., So they are now division rivals.
Yeah, that's honestly a win-win trade when you look at both sides. The New York Mets wanted to get rid of Max Scherzer, and they did that. Of course, they also had to send $36 million to the Texas Rangers to cover Max Scherzer's contract, which, if you're the Rangers, hey, you're getting a what could be a very good upside starting pitcher for a very low price tag when you consider the fact that the Mets just threw in almost $40 million, coming in at roughly $36 million, like I said. And to just send out one prospect, sure, a very highly touted prospect, but just one prospect for it is a deal worth making. So definitely a win-win situation. Luis Angel Acuna has been tearing it up in Double-A so far this season, batting .315, .830 OPS. Dude is he's stealing bases left, right, and center.
He's got 42 steals. He's playing very much like Ronald Acuna Jr., who is his brother. The only difference between them is that Luis Angel Acuna is also a middle infielder. So the Mets, I like you said, I do agree that this was a good trade for both sides. The Mets had Max Scherzer. They're not going for it all this year. We knew they're doing a soft rebuild. We knew they were going to be selling off some of their guys. And it makes sense for Scherzer to be one of the guys that they're selling off because they didn't have him opted into his contract for next year.
Yeah.
So it was not a guarantee for the Mets that Scherzer would have been a Met next year. And it just didn't make much sense for them to keep him. And when you talk about trading him, you're not going to get as much as you might think because he's had, not one of the greatest seasons of his career. He's been a lot better as of recent, I will say that. But you weren't going to get incredible, top 3 prospects in an organization for him. I think this was a very good trade considering the situation, and I think the Mets kind of got what they wanted. And if Luis Angel Acuna can come up to the majors within the next, 2 years and be a crazy force up the middle infield, I think they would love to have him at second base. Yeah. And they would love to have a guy like Ronald Acuna Jr. at second base because I'm just comparing him to Ronald Acuna Jr. and I think that's pretty fair. I mean, he doesn't have the home runs that you would say Ronald Acuna Jr.
He's a smaller guy.
Well, and he's in Double-A, let him do his thing. I think it was a really fair trade for both sides, and if I'm a Mets fan, I love it. If I'm a Rangers fan, I love it even more because you do have Scherzer for next year too.
Yeah, and let it be known, Luis Angel Acuna has not only been playing the middle infield in his time in the minor leagues so far, he has also played third base, center field, and I believe the Mets are going to experiment with him and try to move him into the corners as well. Because when you think about it, Steve Cohen has enough money to spend that if there is a position of immediate need, he can go out and spend the money and give somebody a good contract to fill the hole at second base, at third base. But do you really want to miss out on the offensive production and the pure athleticism of someone within the Acuna family who is showing so far in Double-A that he has the same skill set, if not the exact same, damn close to what we've seen so far in the major leagues with his brother Ronald Acuna Jr. So my guess is the New York Mets will experiment with him a little bit, probably let him finish the season in Double-A, but move him around. You know, they do have a couple of guys coming off the books in terms of the corner outfields or even, hell, at third base, depending on what they want to do moving forward with Jeff McNeil, Brett Beatty, and other guys who are coming off the books. So there could be a world, bless you, where in a couple of years we see Luis Angel Acuna in the big leagues in a corner outfield spot, or playing a third base, or playing a second base role, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that they could do with him. Mm-hmm. I think that in if you're the Rangers' perspective, sending him away, when you talk about the future for this guy, obviously for the Mets, they have the ability to, you know, now in the minor leagues, like you said, try him around everywhere.
Yeah.
But for the Rangers, I think they were more thinking, you know, think about the Rangers infield for the next 10 years or
They're
whatever.
Locked. They're locked.
It's going to be Josh Young. It's going to be Corey Seager. It's going to be Marcus Semien. And then who? It doesn't really matter who's at first at that point. Luis Angel Acuna is not really playing first. Mm-hmm. So, and then think about their outfield, you know, Adolis, who's Leody Taveras, gonna be one of their outfielders in the future. I just think that this team kind of saw it as, you know, we have so much talent, and we also have that minor league talent. Luis Angel Acuna is not just one of their prospects.
Yeah.
Like he is just one of their prospects. They have so many other top prospects in that organization that it's all right to get rid of one for, you know, a potential Cy Young pitcher. He might be, you know, old, on the older side, but I think that this team they looked at the team and they said, we need pitching, so we are going to get pitching, and that's exactly what they did. My only like kind of funny, I find funny about this team now is that they have 7 starting pitchers realistically in their rotation right now. Yeah. Nathan Eovaldi is on the IL currently with a strained forearm, so he might not be back for the next couple weeks. I'm not exactly sure what his timetable is, but if you look at the rest of the rotation, if you say even without Eovaldi, they have a 6-man rotation. They have Scherzer, Dane Dunning, Martin Perez, John Gray, Andrew Heaney, and Jordan Montgomery, which we'll talk about in a minute. So they have a very full rotation. Then you add Eovaldi to that, and that's a 7th guy in your rotation. Mm-hmm. How many guys can you possibly have in your rotation, and what are they going to do about that? Like, it seems like there might be too many guys in their starting rotation right now.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. However, I will say, if an issue that you're having is that you have too many starters, good issue to have, because you can
Depends.
Always, especially we saw it in 2019 with the Nationals. Bringing a starter out of the bullpen can work.
But that's different. But that's different in the playoffs. Everyone does that. This is more of a, like, I'm a little concerned that, like, are guys going to be getting their starts every 5th day? Well, like, what's going? Like, I just would like for them to not be to not be missing starts.
My guess is due to the fact that some of the guys that they have in this rotation are on the older side or have an injury history or usually struggle when pitching from time to time. Their goal is to give pitchers an extra day of rest, an extra couple days of rest. Max Scherzer is 39 years old. Yes, the Mets have been trotting him out there every 5th day or as much as humanly possible, essentially, to ensure that he gets his starts in and gets his numbers. But now that you are in a more solidified situation with the Rangers, who are in first place, of course, only by a game, I believe, or a game and a half, but since they're right there and they're winning games, they might feel comfortable saying, hey, Max, take an extra day off. We get that you want to go today, but your body might not be ready.
Yeah, but that's not how it works when you have these ace pitchers. If they want to pitch, you're gonna let them pitch. Same with, but even then, think about all the other guys in this rotation. They're gonna be like, okay, everyone, now you have 6 or 7 days of rest now instead of 5. that does change a lot more than you think. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do. I'm sure they're going to figure it out, though. I do want to talk about the other trade first before we get more in depth on the Rangers pitching. That trade is the Jordan Montgomery trade. So, the St. Louis Cardinals have sent Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton to the Texas Rangers in exchange for prospects Thomas Sagis, I don't know exactly how to say that, and Takoa Roby, and in addition to that, John King, who is just a bullpen arm that I, to my understanding, Rangers fans didn't like all that much, so that's fine. I mean, this was really just another trade after Eovaldi went down on the IL that they said, you know what, we'll get another starter now.
Why not? And
they got a reliever in Chris Stratton. And Chris Stratton's been pretty good. He's pitched 53 and 2/3 innings pitched this season, a 4.36 ERA, but, you know, reliever ERA can be deceiving sometimes. Monty has a 3.42 ERA through 21 starts, 121 innings pitched. Monty has been amazing. I kind of love this trade for the Rangers.
Yeah.
It's hard to say from the Cardinals' perspective till we see what these prospects can be. But I think, you know, if you're talking about Rangers right now, we want to win. I think this is a good trade for them. I don't know how it will end up with on the Cardinals side of things, but for the Rangers, I like it.
To tell you the truth, I don't know about what's going on with the Cardinals and how it will pan out for them, but I do agree with you. Good trade in terms of what the Rangers want to do, what the Rangers are attempting to do. It was a good idea, good move. Will we see anything really come out of it long term in terms of will the Rangers benefit more from this than what the Cardinals will? No one knows. I think I just said the same thing twice, but
yeah.
The point is I don't know how much it moves the needle for the either team is what I should say, not either team.
You don't think it moves the needle for the Rangers?
I don't think it's.
You don't think getting a starter with a 3.42 ERA moves the needle?
I don't think it's as big of a move as people are making it out to be, considering that there are a bunch of other arms in this starting rotation. Like I just said, it's not like, in my opinion, it's not like he's going to be going every fifth day. It feels like it's going to be in every sixth, seventh day, depending on what's going on.
I still think it's a great move. I think it's a really great move. Why would you complain? Didn't you just say about 5 minutes ago that there's no issue with too much starting pitching? Too much good starting pitching?
But I'm saying for a guy like Jordan Montgomery, I don't understand why they went with this route of... They traded for him, let's be real. They traded... The Rangers acquired Jordan Montgomery as part of getting a reliever. That would be my guess, although the Cardinals were already shopping him around. I think that it was more of they would get a reliever who's a little bit more solidified, a little bit more comfortable with coming out of the bullpen because of the bullpen arms that the Rangers currently have, besides a couple other top-end guys.
I don't know, because this was before the Cardinals traded another reliever, right before they traded another reliever, and if you're going out to get a reliever, they would have gotten that reliever. They wouldn't have said, we'll take Chris Stratton instead of the other option, who was Jordan Hicks, who did get traded. They wouldn't say, you know what, we'll take the better reliever and we'll take the worst reliever and the good starter. They would have just traded straight up for Jordan Hicks. They would not have traded for Chris Stratton. I think they traded for Monty because Eovaldi went down. There was a lot of talk that they were going to get another starter anyway.
Yes.
But I think a big part of it was because Eovaldi went down, and maybe they don't know how long he's going to be out. I mean, a strained forearm can very well turn into something serious.
Which I hope not, because Nathan Eovaldi has been very, very good for the Rangers this season.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not too. I agree. I don't know. I think that is why they did this trade. I don't think they did it for the reliever arm per se, because there's definitely a couple different reliever arms they could have traded from, especially in the Cardinals staff.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. When you look at this Rangers rotation, I know we're talking about this year and like what they could do this year. They're going to win the World Series this year. I'm not saying they're going to. No, I mean like That's what their goal. Like they're going.
Okay. I thought that you just threw it out there. They're winning the World Series.
No. Like they're going into this looking like they're gonna win the World Series in their perspectives.
Yeah, that's
so
how
they're going into it looking to win the World Series. But then you look to next year, and if DeGrom comes back next year, they got DeGrom, Eovaldi, Scherzer, all in the same rotation. So it's looking to be a really good rotation next year too. I don't know. I didn't check if Monty is a rental too. So keep that in mind. What do you got?
I agree with you in the sense of it's not a bad idea. I agree with myself in the sense of never hurts to have too much starting pitching. Just curious as to why the Cardinals accepted this trade. I think that's what I've been trying to say.
Well, they're getting prospects.
Right, but I feel like they could have gotten something more for each of Chris Stratton and Jordan Montgomery individually, rather than packaging them and sending them. I
disagree. I don't think they getting that much for Chris Stratton.
I think that they would have gotten a better haul for Jordan Montgomery then.
I don't know. They got two good prospects from the Rangers organization, and John King, but they got two good prospects from the Rangers organization. I don't know. I don't think I would. I think that's for a rental. I think that's fine. I think that is fine.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't but like I said earlier, we don't know too much about these prospects.
Yeah,
we have to be honest about it. We don't know too much about these prospects, so you can't really speak on that. What if these prospects both come up and they're just like MVP caliber players?
That would be electric.
Or like Cy Young. I think one's a pitcher, one's an infielder.
Jordan Montgomery would get his number retired.
Okay. Moving on to our next trade we got going on here. We talked about the Cardinals. We will talk about their trade with the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah. So, the Blue Jays have acquired Jordan Hicks from the St. Louis Cardinals in exchange for righty prospects Adam Kloffenstein and Sem Roberse. Don't know much about those prospects once again, but I do know about Jordan Hicks, and I do know that this was a panic move from the Blue Jays. And when I say panic move, I mean in the sense that their closer, Jordan Romano, it just went down with lower back inflammation. So they said, fuck it, we're going out, we're getting another reliever. Whether he closes games or not. Yeah. They're going out. They got out and got another reliever, and I kind of love it. I mean, what's the downside in getting Jordan Hicks right now?
Honestly, not that much downside. The only concern is that now
it's a rental.
Yeah, now you have to try to figure out, if you're the Blue Jays, do you want to re-sign him? Like, do you want to test it first, or do you want to think about the thought of solidifying your bullpen right now? Obviously, when Jordan Romano comes back and is healthy again, having a 1-2 of Jordan Hicks and Jordan Romano would be very, very good in the AL East.
Oh, yeah.
It would be very solid, especially if you're looking to make a push and be competitive late into games, barring, of course, Jordan Hicks can maybe do a little bit better on locating without losing too much velocity. That's been a big issue that Cardinals fans have been complaining about for so long, of he just can't hit the strike zone, but he'll throw it 100 miles an hour, which that's a give and take thing. I think that it's better for him now to be within an organization that has done a very good job in recent years of working with relief pitchers and figuring out who they are and what they succeed at a better rate than what the Cardinals have done. So maybe Jordan Hicks will find that Jordan Hicks that we all want him to be, that you kind of build him to be in the show type of deal of, like, hey, I want this guy to throw 100 miles an hour on a sinker, and I want it to just clip the zone. I want it to be right there, not in the other batter's box. I think that's what the Blue Jays are going to do with him, and then it's a matter of, do they want to keep him or not?
That's fair enough. I see what you're saying. I don't really... My only concern is, if you're the Blue Jays now, you got to go for it all. You got to make more trades. I'm not saying this team isn't really a World Series contending team. They do have Hyun-Jin Ryu coming back tomorrow to make his first start since going down with Tommy John surgery almost a little over a year ago.
It feels like forever ago.
It does feel like forever ago. I feel like I haven't seen Hyun-Jin Ryu. But what do you do? Is there other moves to be made if you are the Blue Jays? You have a guy.
Yes.
You have your catcher position hasn't been the greatest this season. Danny Jansen's been and Kirk's been good, but not crazy good. Their outfield has been pretty good. Obviously, you're not getting rid of Springer or Kiermaier, but Dalton Varsho, who they traded for in December, has not been great at all. He's batting .214. That's not really what they were looking for.
Yeah, really struggling.
But I don't know. It's a weird position to be in. Obviously, you got Alek Manoah back, and Manoah has honestly been a lot better since coming back. Mm-hmm. But I don't really know what else there is to fix for this team.
In all honesty,
I'm interested to see if they do wind up doing anything this season.
Yeah.
Or rather, the next day.
That's fair. In all honesty, what I feel like the Blue Jays are missing, and this is not to insult Blue Jays fans or to insult the organization, because they've done a very good job so far over the past few seasons of showing that they want to be competitive and they can develop players and blah, blah, blah. I genuinely think that they're just missing a, glue guy. You know, they have their young stars in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette. Hell, throw Matt Chapman in there, who's only 30 years old, too. And George Springer. Guys who, yes, are very good and are very solid, but I also feel like they're missing someone who just, who will always feel like he can come up in the big moment and succeed. You know? Yes, you can say, if you're a Blue Jays fan, you can be like, Vladdy can always hit a home run if he needs to.
But he can't.
But he can't.
Yeah.
The realistic part of it is that he can't. And a lot of teams don't have that. I don't even think I could think of an example other than maybe looking at the Braves offense 1 through 9 and saying it feels like they're always
maybe
hits.
Yeah, I think maybe the Braves.
Yeah.
Maybe the Braves.
That's why I said besides the Braves.
Yeah.
I feel like the Blue Jays, their names and some of their offensive production output shows that they can be a very, very good team, a very powerful team. But then in the big moments, it feels like there's never anyone that they can turn to time and time again and be like, okay, this guy's coming up 4th in the order. Hey, let's just get to him. If we get to him, the chains just keep moving. You know, let's work it through that type of thing. It's sort of like the Yankees with Aaron Judge. You know?
You always know he can get a hit.
Yeah, hey, we're going to go up there, we're going to get into that box and do everything in our power to not record it out so we get more at-bats for Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
It feels like the Blue Jays are missing that, and that's what I hope that they address if they really want to, quote, go all in on this season.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
Obviously, they have that guy on their bench, but they're just disrespecting him.
Yeah, who's that guy?
Kevin Biggio, baby. Absolutely love him.
Okay.
They have him, but they're just not touching him.
Yeah, because he's
Shame.
not. He's not. He wants to be Bo Bichette, but he's not. Moving on. The Blue Jays, blah, blah, blah. We talked about the Rangers. A couple other AL West teams made moves that we cannot forget about. Those teams being the Astros and the Angels. Yeah. The Angels, obviously, we'll start with them, I guess. CJ Cron and Randall Grichuk are headed to the Los Angeles Angels. They made that trade last week with Lucas Giolito, and this is kind of how they follow it up, because once they traded for Giolito and why is the other guy escaping my head? And Ronaldo Lopez,
yep.
They're both rentals. You're telling your fan base, we are going to buy at the deadline. We don't care if we're getting rentals or not, and we are going to try to win the World Series this year. That is a bold thing to do as a baseball team, and so they have to continue to back it up.
Yeah, especially when you have the best player in baseball about to walk away from your organization, you gotta go all in. And I think that honestly, the moves that they made are not too bad.
Not bad at all.
Not good. Hey, they're winning the World Series now, but not bad.
Yeah, you get a guy in CJ Cron. By the way, the return that the Rockies got, Mason Albright and Jake Madden, 2 minor leaguers. I believe pretty good minor leaguers, too. So good return for the Rockies, I think, from what I've heard. My concern with CJ Cron is obviously he was a Rocky. He played in Coors Field a lot. CJ Cron in Coors Field this season batted .278 with an .816 OPS. Anywhere that isn't Coors Field batted .240 with a .740 OPS. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know necessarily if that really is just because, Coors Field, not Coors Field.
Bro.
I'm not sure if that's just he likes playing in the home stadium more. I don't know. But that's the only thing that concerned me when I looked at this. Otherwise, I love this trade because I love the Randall Grichuk aspect of it as well. They drafted Randall Grichuk right before they drafted Mike Trout a few years ago. Or, back in, 2010 or whatever, 2009. And now he's back. And Grichuk has been good this season. I'll pull up his numbers. He missed a little bit at the beginning of the season, so he's only played 64 games. But he's batting .308 with an .861 OPS. I think this was one of the best pickups any team could have made at the trade deadline. And the fact that the Angels did it really just said even more so that they are going for it all indeed.
Yeah.
And this is another rental. So Grichuk is a rental. And CJ Cron is also a rental. So they're just going out and getting whoever. Yeah. They don't care how many service years they have.
Service time, whatever. Yeah. Screw it. Let's go get them. I like it. Obviously, before we continue with anything, get well soon. Taylor Ward was watching the game live when that happened. Hated it. Hope that we can see him back on the field sooner rather than later. But in terms of the trade acquisition that the Angels made, like all of their trades, just like I said before, show that they want to go all in, that they want to try to win in this last season of Shohei Ohtani, because I think the Angels and Artie Moreno know in the back of their minds they're not keeping him after this year. They can't afford it, and I don't think Shohei wants to continue rotting away watching these teams in the postseason that play on the same coast as you guys. Well, he just has to go home at the end of every season and just not get to compete when, especially in the WBC, a lot of American people, a lot of American baseball fans got to see how competitive Shohei Ohtani is and how much he wants to win and how much he enjoys the thrill of competition. And the Angels have just been depriving him of it since the WBC this last offseason. Shohei's going to go somewhere. And if this is the one last hurrah, one last attempt at trying to make a competent roster that can win ball games, not bad for what the trade market is this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so excited just to see if this team even makes the playoffs, because right now they're close. I don't think they're in a playoff spot though.
I think
they're 4 games out of the wild card, but they are also 7-3 in their last 10 on a 2-game win streak. They are looking good. They're looking good. And if they can continue to keep this up, obviously the Yankees aren't looking good right now.
Yeah. Red Sox are the Red Sox.
They could get past the Red Sox, although the Red Sox have been sneakily very good this season. Imagine this team doesn't make the playoffs. You just said all that about how Shohei wants to win. They are doing their best with what the market is right now. They're getting a lot of good guys. They're making the trades that they're making good trades. But imagine they don't make the playoffs. Imagine all of this is for nothing. And it's not even like, oh, we made the playoffs, but we didn't make it past the ALCS. Or we didn't even make it past the DS. But imagine they don't even make the playoffs to begin with, and then they lose Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez, Grichuk, Cron, Ohtani, all that for nothing. They just gave away prospects for nothing.
This would be equally as not shocking as it is shocking. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed it. Because that seems to be the Angels' mojo for the last however many years, of come close, but don't do anything about it, don't win it. Like the Angels, in all honesty, should have been competing for the last 10 years, it feels like. Or however long Mike Trout's been in the big leagues. Because Mike Trout has been this one-of-a-kind talent. And then they bring in this other guy, Shohei Ohtani. They have two of the greatest players in baseball on the same team. And they still can't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Bad luck.
I still think they need to be worrying about pitching, too.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Because, I like I said, I love the Grichuk. I love the Grichuk deal. I love it.
But last I checked, Grichuk does not pitch.
No, I know, but Grichuk is not a pitcher.
Yep.
But they need more pitching. I know they were linked to Montgomery. And that would have been a pretty good trade to make.
That would have been good.
There aren't too many crazy good starting pitchers on the market now. You look at a guy like Jack Flaherty who might be on the market. I don't even know who else. Cease is off the market. Snell is off the market. Stroman is off the market. The Cubs announced.
Blake Snell, no way.
Snell is off the market. Shane Bieber's injured for the rest of the season. No one's trading for him. Corbin Burns, that's a bigger trade than just doing it at the deadline, in my opinion. I don't think that's going to happen.
And they already have Shohei Ohtani.
They already have Shohei. It's like, I don't know. It's such a...
Oh, this is.
They might have screwed it up.
Yeah, this is too little too late.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope they make the playoffs. I really do. I know Logan O'Hoppy's coming back soon. Because I'm very excited for that because I love Logan O'Hoppy. But again, he doesn't pitch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very scared that the Angels are doing all this because I think they will make more trades in the next 2 days, and I'm scared that it's going to be all for nothing.
My only thought is if the Mets go 100% out on the whole sell everything and
get
prep
Verlander.
the farms, yeah. If you can,
they don't have stuff to offer.
But if you there's got to be some way, shape, or form they can make that trade.
Aside from Logan O'Hoppy, who they're not trading.
Yeah, no way.
They have 0 prospects in the top 100.
Yeah, which is why I'm saying if there is a shot in hell that the Mets say to everybody, hey, we'll pay down 60% of JV's salary for this season and next season.
There's no point.
Bring us 12 prospects. They might be no names. Steve Cohen has always said that he just wants to have a great farm system.
Right, but if you're getting 12 random prospects, that's not having a great farm system. That's just
one of them could hit.
No, it's just overloading.
A couple of them could hit.
That's just overloading guys. In my opinion, that's just overloading guys.
No, I get what
I just don't think that's. I don't think that's. That would be one of the stupidest trades in MLB history. If you're just like, oh, give us 12 random minor league guys and we'll give you Justin Verlander. Not to mention, they do have Justin Verlander locked up for next season. So, like, why would they even,
Right.
They're going to be going for it next season, too. So,
I just don't know what the trade would look like. That's why I'm just saying, throw it out there.
I just don't think it's possible for the Angels to trade for Verlander at the moment.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I just don't. I do think that they will make more trades in the next, like I said, 29 hours, whatever it is right now. I think trades will be made. As far as the other trade in the AL West that I wanted to talk about is Kendall Graveman is headed back to the Houston Astros.
Second time in 3 seasons that the Astros have traded for him?
Yeah, the White Sox have traded reliever Kendall Graveman to the Houston Astros in exchange for top catching prospect Corey Lee. Lewis, you banged this one on the nozzle. You did say that you thought the Astros did not believe in Corey Lee and you thought they would trade him
for a pitcher.
And they did exactly that. Kendall Graveman back on the Astros. They traded for him in 2021, and now he's back. You banged it on the nose.
I did. I knew for a fact that the Houston Astros simply did not believe in Corey Lee for some reason when they have Martin Maldonado behind the plate for them. Mind-boggling when Corey Lee has, in my opinion, very much... Well, bad wording, sorry. In my opinion, Corey Lee, although he has not shown his stats in the big leagues as being competent and able to perform at a big league level, it was simply because of playtime. I mean, the guy only got 25 at-bats and batted 160. But I think given the right amount of playtime, which, in my opinion, next season, the White Sox are going to let Yasmani Grandal walk, and they are going to bring this guy up because he is more than due to be a starting catcher in this league. I think we're going to see... Maybe the Astros will regret that.
Yeah, like you said, this guy he's played 12 games in the majors, so you can't really base it on his major league talent.
Numbers.
In the minors this year, batting .283. The OPS is a little low, but he is, he's a catcher at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You do have to keep that in mind. I don't mind this. I like this trade for the White Sox.
I do too.
I don't see. There's no bad in making this trade if you're the White Sox. Simply because you're not winning this year, obviously. Kendall Graveman is a rental, so he's a free agent at the end of the season. What's the point of keeping him? And you're getting offered a top catching prospect. Why wouldn't you make that trade? And that's exactly what they did. I think that at the end of the day, if the Astros don't win the World Series, then obviously the White Sox won that trade. And I think the White Sox won the trade anyway, because I don't think that Kendall Graveman makes that much of a difference between the Astros winning the World Series or not winning the World Series, unless he goes out there and has like a .5 ERA throughout the rest of the season and the playoffs. But aside from that, I think that the White Sox really did fleece this trade.
Yeah. Corey Lee, I've been saying it time and time again, and I've been saying that I believe in Corey Lee. I know that he's capable of doing amazing things. I know that he's capable of being a very, very solid. I'm going to say right now, in my opinion, he could be a borderline all-star type of guy down the road. Like, we could be saying in 3-4 years from now, how did this guy make it over Corey Lee? Corey Lee should have been the all-star starting catcher. I just think that Corey Lee was somebody who, from the moment the Astros drafted him, all the way back whenever the hell, in 2019, they took him knowing that they didn't want him to touch the big leagues. Which, if you're a prospect in the minor leagues and that's the feeling of how the organization is treating you, to get out of that and go to an organization that, from every sign, it looks like they are going to be bringing up prospects, is a great move. And I'm happy to see Corey Lee get a fresh start.
Me too. I'm excited to see, when they decide to call him up and give him a shot and how that all works out.
Yeah.
So I am very excited to see that. Last trade we have on the board, in terms of, ones that have already happened, is the Los Angeles Dodgers have acquired Joe Kelly and Lance Lynn from the Chicago White Sox, so we're sticking with the White Sox, in exchange for Trace Thompson and minor league starter Nick Nastrini and minor league reliever Jordan Leisure. So, Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly are Dodgers. I love it in terms of...
Welcome back, Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly back to the Dodgers. that famous face that he made to the Astros a couple of years ago. Love that he's back doing that. Lance Lynn is a confusing one because he's been horrible this season, but he is a veteran, and Mark Pryor masterclass is very possible. So we'll see what happens there.
When Lance Lynn starts Game 5 of the NLCS for the Dodgers and goes 7 shutout innings, just know Mark Pryor did that for him.
Fair enough.
Just have to say it. Have to say it.
That you actually think that's going to happen?
Only one way to find out.
All right. Fair enough. That I don't really have too much to say about this trade.
No, neither do I.
I mean, Trace Thompson wasn't really doing much for the Dodgers, so I don't really care about that. The minor league starters and reliever, I don't really know much about them either. So I am excited to see what kind of comes from this. I know Joe Kelly's going to be good. I've been saying that he is...
Solidifying the Dodger bullpen is a very good move.
I have been saying that whoever gets Joe Kelly is getting a steal, because he has been one of the better relievers in baseball this season, very low-key almost.
Yeah.
I know his ERA doesn't really speak to that, but he has been really good. Lance Lynn just confuses the hell out of me. If he can be good, I mean, I guess, yeah, go for it. But for right now, I'm very confused.
I think this is a simple thought of the Dodgers want to take a look at Lance Lynn under a microscope and see if they can find what he's missing. If it's a timing thing, if it's a mechanic thing, and they'll fix it
They'll
And
find
we will be talking about second half Lance Lynn was one of the best pitchers in the last 5 years for the Dodgers.
They'll find it.
Yeah.
They could have found it before they even traded for him.
They could have.
So we'll see if
That
Lance
would be
Lynn...
a Dodgers thing.
It would. So we'll see if Lance Lynn comes out of the gate with the Dodgers, being better.
But having Joe Kelly back is amazing.
Oh, yeah. I love Joe Kelly. That's all we really have for the trades that have already been made. Just maybe a little standings update real quick.
Let's do it.
The standings, since, we're all worried about the trade deadline, but we got to also worry about,
Who's going to win?
who's winning, and who can make the playoffs.
Okay.
So right now, the division leaders in the American League are the Baltimore Orioles in the AL East. They have a 1.5 lead on Tampa. The Minnesota Twins in the AL Central, they have a 2-game lead over the Guardians. The Texas Rangers in the AL West, they have a 2-game lead over the Astros.
1 game.
I'm seeing 2-game lead.
I have 1 game here on MLB.com.
Maybe because this happened last week. Yeah, you're right. 1 game. So these standings, they don't update. Then the Twins have half a game lead.
Yeah.
Orioles still have 1.5. My standings don't update for some reason on MyMLB.com. So, and then as far as the NL goes, we'll talk about the AL wild card. Currently in the 3 AL wild card spots are the Rays, the Astros, and the Blue Jays. The Red Sox are 2.5 games out. The Yankees are 3.5 games out. The Angels are 4 games out. The Mariners are 4.5 games out, and the Guardians are 6 games out. Everyone past that is not making the playoffs. As far as the National League goes, the Atlanta Braves are 11.5 games in first place over the Miami Marlins. In the Central, the Reds are in first place, just a half a game up of the Brewers. And in the West, the Dodgers are 2 games up of the Giants for first place. NL wild card, the 3 spot holders right now are the Giants, Marlins, and Brewers. Phillies are half a game out. Diamondbacks are a game out. Cubs are 3.5 out. Padres are 5 games out, and the Mets are 6.5 games out. Everyone past that is not making the playoffs. Do you want to give us 1 trade that you think might happen tomorrow within the next 24 hours or 20 whatever hours?
Yeah, I got one brewing. It's been brewing in the back of my mind since the start of the season. Since right before the All-Star break, honestly. Brent Rooker to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Okay.
I don't know why. It just feels like a very Tampa Bay Rays move of 2 random-ass prospects out of the hundreds of thousands that the Rays could have. It'll be the only 2 that don't hit in the big leagues, and they will get back Brent Rooker, who has been having a great season so far. How do you feel, or do you want to give me a trade that you might think?
I'll give you a trade, but to that trade, I say that is interesting, and I kind of like it.
I do too.
I kind of like it. If I had to say a trade, I'm not saying the exact trade or anything like that. But I don't know if I have to make a guess. I will say, this is one that I wanted to say. So the New York Yankees, I don't think that they're going to make any crazy trades this trade deadline, but they always seem to make one trade that I feel like a lot of people didn't really think about.
Okay.
So that's why I think that the Yankees are going to go out and get Jeimer Candelario from the Nationals. It has been rumored. There has been links, but nothing crazy serious. And I do think that is going to be the one trade they make, and every Yankee fan's going to be like,
"That's it?
You've got to be kidding me! That's the trade. We have Luis Severino with a 9 ERA, but we're going out and getting Jeimer Candelario, which
who last time I checked, he does not pitch."
Yeah. So I don't know. That's the one that I just can envision happening. But yeah, that's my pick.
The other, I have to throw out one more.
Go throw out whatever.
Which, this might be a little bit crazy, but I do think that Tim Anderson does get moved. And honestly, I think the boys down south might be the place for him to be. Just bring him into Miami. I think that would be the good spot for him. Do I know what for? I'm not too sure. But I do think the White Sox would be willing to pick up salary for better prospect return.
Fair enough. I have seen the Marlins linked a lot to Gleyber Torres of the Yankees. They really want him. They wanted him They wanted him 2 years ago, I think it was.
They've wanted him for 3 years now.
They want him.
My favorite part about
You
that...
have to put... I've seen that the Yankees aren't saying no, but they want a very big... They want Edward Cabrera. They want...
They said Yuri Perez.
They want Edward Cabrera, Yuri Perez, and 2 more prospects on top of that. So they're saying, you know, we'll give you him, but you're going to have to give us a lot back if you really, really want him. And the Marlins are not going to do that. So
and when you think about it, it sounds absurd, but when you're talking about one of the only consistent hitters in the Yankee lineup, not named Aaron Judge, the Yankees have to treat him like this chip that is worth a lot more than what it should be. But that's part of the game of baseball. That's part of being a GM in baseball. And that's where I do tip my cap to the Yankees and to the Marlins for not making this trade, for not going through with this.
Yeah, no. They don't want to get fleeced.
Yeah.
Because they'll know if they do. Like, they'll know before they make that trade if they're getting fleeced.
Agreed.
So, that's all I got. Trade deadline, we got today. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about it. And then after that, the Wednesday episode will be the trade deadline episode. What happened and what's going on. So, on that note, we thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing. If you liked, make sure to like the video and subscribe and share for more content. And we will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Trade deadline. Let's go crazy. Yeah. Peace. Yes. Put the shirt down.